last but not least, another three-pointer, but this time I'm taking the dog. Listen, the Chargers are not better than the Bucs. And so I'm getting 3 points. I'm getting a team that can win. The Chargers can't break 20 points with any consistency. And the Chargers can't beat good teams. They can come close. They can't beat good teams. The Bucs are a good team. I don't typically love the East Coast teams going west, but it's not as bad as the West Coast team going east. 4 o'clock, still body clock, 1 o'clock. They can deal with it. It's no problem. Tampa Bay and Baker. This feels to me like a 20-17, 21-17 Bucs win. So there it is. Laying 3.
Look at that. You heard it. The Chargers cannot beat good teams. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are better than the Chargers. And we know based off of his little mountain that he believes that Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback than that man right there, Justin Herbert. Woo! This game's juicy now. This game just got interesting. God, there's too many good games on at 4 o'clock. Why are they putting all the great games on at 4? I mean, can't we get some good games on at 1 and stuff? Like, my God, it's gonna be so hard to watch all these games at once. But yeah, listen, I think the Buccaneers are definitely a pretty feisty team and a better team, and I think the Chargers, for the most part, have been punching above their weight, you know, in the sense that I think they're playing better than the sum of their parts because of great coaching and quarterback play of Justin Herbert. I'm not sure what the injury status is for the Chargers. You know, are they getting back a few of their weapons back? If they are, well, then I most definitely will be significantly more confident in the Chargers coming away with this win. But if they're still dealing with some of their injury concerns, then I would feel a little less confident about that. But this idea, this is always the thing that drives me nuts about these takes or about what Nick has to say about a team like the Chargers. Like, he literally, again, drops banners and does a song and dance when the Chiefs beat the Chargers. But if you're saying that the Chargers can't beat good teams, then it doesn't really matter. Because then again, it's like, well, then who are the Chiefs beating that are a good team then? Like, people will say that I bring up the Chiefs too much, but it's like, I'm backed in a corner. When you make statements like this, I'm backed into a corner. It makes it impossible not to. Because again, if you're going to say the Chargers are not a good team and that they can't beat good teams, well, he doesn't think that the Ravens are a good team, so beating them is not special. He beats the Bengals. The Bengals are obviously also can't beat anyone, so that's not a big win. The Falcons, nobody thinks the Falcons are a good team right now. There we go. Now we get to the Chargers. The Chargers can't beat a good team, so therefore that's not that good. The Saints are not good. The 49ers, Brock, he just went on a whole rant talking about how the 49ers are not good and Brock Purdy's not a franchise quarterback. Okay. Beating the Raiders, we know the Raiders aren't good. Well, there we go. I guess they beat the Buccaneers. In his eyes, he thinks the Buccaneers are a good team. They had to go to overtime, so I guess that was a good win. He doesn't think the Broncos are a good team. Rookie quarterback Bo Nix, he doesn't think they're as an actual quarterback. Now we come across the Bills, who we know are a good team, and they lose. The Panthers not a good team. The Raiders not a good team. Back to the Chargers. The Chargers, I guess, are not a good team, so therefore they can't beat a good team. You understand what I'm saying? So then again, like, if we want to use this as a reason as to why the Chargers are not good or why they can't win a game, like, well, then you gotta use the same logic. So that is why in this instance, I'm like, well, how can I not bring up the Chiefs then? Because it's just an inconsistent, you know, way to kind of look at this, to construct an opinion about it all. And listen, I think as I was just talking about in the comment section, and like I've been saying, honestly, all season and all off season, is like the Chargers are on a much longer timeline. This has always been about the next 1, 2, 3 or so years. This has been about what they need to build and grow and evolve, bringing in Harbaugh and whatnot, and that it's not just an instant, okay, we got Harbaugh, and now all of a sudden we're going to be this great team. This was always going to take some time to get this going. And I think they're already ahead of schedule because of the greatness of Harbaugh and Herbert together. Now combine that with some bad luck with some injuries, that will hold you back a little bit, of course. And that's why it's like, for me, I'm definitely looking forward into the next year and beyond. But in terms of who the Chargers are, at least this season, I mean, just to kind of throw it out there that they, quote, can't beat good teams, I just, that undersells what they've been able to do. If anything, I think they have the ability to be a great team because, mainly again, because of Harbaugh and Herbert, but they lack the talent and the roster, again, today, to be able to do it consistently, to be able to reliably beat these, quote, great teams. That's, to me, is where some of these things go on. So that's why my conclusion is just like, well, they're not a great team and they can't win, and therefore the Bucs are a better team. I'm just not buying that, quite frankly. I'm really not. And again, the Buccaneers are definitely a much better team than I thought they were going into this season. And it's not to say that the Bucs still won't beat the Chargers or whatnot. Like I said, I would have to kind of look a little bit deeper in terms of the injury report and whatnot. But I don't know. I think when you sell your argument like that, it really undercuts what the Chargers are doing, and I just don't think it's really that fair, honestly. And I just, yeah, it just feels like we can still reach that conclusion that Nick drew, but the logic behind it is something that I still will reject, quite frankly. So yeah, I mean, I think also, I think I may have said this in an earlier Chargers video, like, to me, a game like this is actually a perfect representation to try to figure out how good are the Chargers this season, right? Like, really, what is their potential moving into the playoffs, right? Like, if they lose and lose convincingly to the Bucs, like, yeah, you're gonna not feel good about that, and it'll be harder to chalk it up as just like, it was just one game, this, that. You'd have to look at everything as a whole and be like, okay, you know what, the Chargers are punching above their weight. They might have reached their limit. They might have reached their ceiling for what they're capable of doing this season, and that just is what it is, and that's totally okay. But if they get a good, convincing, strong win, then that will also continue to reinforce that narrative of like, no, like, this is a work in progress, sure, but like, they're right there. It's just all a matter of, can they execute at the right time? And then they can beat those higher up teams. They can come away with the win against the Chiefs, against, again, just name all the other top teams out there. So the Chargers are definitely a pretty good example of time will tell. But if you're confident in these like strong, bold conclusions about a team like the Chargers and saying that they can't beat good teams. It's one thing if you said they struggle to beat good teams. That's a different take. Saying they can't beat good teams, that's what sets everything up for me. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about the San Diego, Los Angeles Chargers? Do you think they can't beat good teams? Do you think the Bucs got this? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment, so whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We're building an amazing community here, and I'd absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to, something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.